GM. How you doing, Logan?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good on this fine Wednesday morning. Super excited to get into the AMA as usual. Let me share my screen, get these slides going. Nice. All right. Welcome everyone to the last AMA of the year. It's been a crazy year, big year at Lilypad. We've got covered a lot of ground. We have a lot more ground to cover. And so, anyway, thank you to the community for all the support. And anyway, happy holidays and happy New Year. We're very excited to get into 2025. A lot of 2025 planning going on, and so a lot of good stuff is in the works. Cool. So quickly, we'll just go over as usual the Lilypad vision and some of the stuff going on at Lilypad, and then of course, this is an AMA, right? So we want to hear from the community. We want to answer your questions, and so definitely feel free to share. Okay, so Lilypad's building an accessible, efficient, permissionless open compute network. Essentially, it's a three-sided marketplace. We have people who have idle GPUs that want to put those GPUs to work. We have a market matching engine that matches them with people who want to run compute jobs, mostly running LLMs, running agents, running BioML, running different types of workloads that require GPU compute that's also load balanced, kind of on demand. And so the Lilypad market matching engine connects these GPUs with the compute jobs to run the jobs. Now, the third side of the marketplace is the module creators. So a Lilypad job is a containerized process, a Docker image, and that process then you basically configure it to run like as a Lilypad job with a Lilypad spec, and then you can just call it on the Lilypad network with our CLI, and that job is matched with a resource offer from a GPU. And so that's kind of the third side of the marketplace is people can create modules. And currently the Lilypad team has created a bunch of modules. We have the community creating, seeing they're creating modules too to run the network. Really, really excited about that. And so anyway, we have this three-sided marketplace that we, connect via our market matching engine. And the vision here is to build a global permissionless distributed compute network and marketplace. And so, of course, this is a deep-in network. And the vision here is really to enable internet scale data processing for AI and ML, unleashing idle processing power, democratizing access to GPU compute, and at the end of the day, making it really easy to deploy AI for developers, businesses, individuals, researchers. Like, we feel that we have a huge opportunity here to really help accelerate the adoption of these types of systems, especially like AI, ML based products are kind of proliferating across all industries. And people kind of generally face a lot of the same problems with regards to deployment, with regards to load balancing, with regards to, cost of compute, managing compute. And so Lilypad really aims to just, take care of most of that and allow developers to just do their everyday job of like whatever their product or service is. And so anyway, we're very proud of the product we have to offer. We are currently in testnet, and the mainnet launch is coming up next year in 2025. And so we're very excited about that. Oh, I jumped the gun. Here's a really great diagram to kind of illustrate what I was just talking about. So of course, the compute client, the compute provider getting matched in the middle. And the really exciting kind of value prop of Lilypad is we provide off-chain compute via our solver with on-chain guarantees. So the compute jobs are all saved on our Arbitrum Sepolia. We're currently using the Ethereum layer 2 Arbitrum. And every compute job that runs successfully is saved on chain. And we have some privacy mechanisms that we're implementing to protect job inputs and outputs and job information, stuff like that. But generally speaking, the success of the compute job can be verified on chain, which is like we believe is a fundamental primitive for building truly open AI-based systems, right? You need to be able to trust the system you're running. You need to be able to verify that compute has run. We're also very excited that Lilypad is modular for certain things like data management. And so we're seeing developers, and we actually have like a very basic implementation of this, is developers saving inputs and outputs on IPFS. And actually, when you run a Lilypad job, you do get an IPFS output. It's not typically it's not hosted by a pinning provider, so it's typically not super accessible. But anyway, that's the vision, and that's where we're headed of, verifiable compute jobs, verifiable inputs and outputs, creating a baseline foundation for AI-based services to to be useful and safe for people, and really to be able to track what's going on. We have a question here. Why would that solution be so different in comparison to cloud solutions company like Microsoft Platform as a Service? Yeah, no, it's a great question. So the first thing is the ease of use. We make this very straightforward to run jobs on Lilypad. So you can run right now SDXL, OLLAMA, Stable Diffusion Video. Those modules, those are built as Dockerized Lilypad modules, and all you got to do is download the CLI, fill up your wallet with some tokens, and you can just start calling our CLI running jobs. And so that and then if you need to scale that up for an application or some crazy AI agent, we load balance that, right? And so you basically access more and more GPUs as needed via our distributed network. And then the other piece of that is the open source, decentralized, blockchain verified value proposition, right? And so our cloud's offering provides cryptographically hashed compute verification, and so that's something that people generally in the open source AI community are starting to sort of gravitate towards and are very interested in. Is we need open source AI, but then we also need open compute networks to run that AI that are not, guarded behind big closed walls. And so, those are kind of like the high level reasons and different so reasons to use Lilypad and differentiators from, as you're asked, traditional cloud companies. The other really big thing, so under the hood of Lilypad, we're using an orchestration framework called Bacalhau. And Bacalhau is built by Protocol Labs. I'll actually pull it up real quick. And yeah, here, Bacalhau. And so this framework was created by one of the initial founding product managers of Kubernetes, and David Aronchik. He's an advisor at Lilypad, awesome guy. And they created Bacalhau for an interesting reason. Kubernetes is used to run clusters of compute within data centers, within specific geographies, for specific, kind of behind closed doors, behind big, security walls. What if you're trying to run at the edge? What if you're trying to run compute jobs where the users are? If you're a developer, right, you're trying to run compute jobs where the users are, right? You need to be able to run compute at the edge as close to customers as possible without, the sort of the burden of something like what Kubernetes does. And so what's really cool about Bacalhau is, let's see if there's I guess there's not too much more information here, but what's really cool about Bacalhau is you can run compute jobs on untrusted hardware. And so, unlike Kubernetes, you can run compute jobs across the world, across GPUs, across data center lines, and you can orchestrate that. And then the Lilypad layer on top of Bacalhau provides the blockchain verification that the compute job happened. And so it's a layered approach with a bunch of different value propositions, but it's we believe it's like a fundamental. We talk about edge compute, we talk about edge processing. This is a fundamental step in the direction of truly like democratized edge processing. Our vision is that Lilypad has 10,000, 100,000 nodes, and and our customers can run compute jobs across all of those nodes on untrusted hardware, which again is not a very common thing. And we are also talking to enterprises who have questions and concerns about that kind of stuff. And so we're mostly for developers and businesses, SMEs, but some of the enterprise stuff is a little bit different. But it's also there's places where it fits and there's places where it works. There's just more security needed. So we've been running our Lilypad incentive net, our test net, for the last months, and it's been amazing. We cannot thank the community enough for helping us test every push that we've pushed. The test net has been built to test every piece of the puzzle, so that when we launch mainnet, we've proofed the system. And so again, we can't thank the community enough for the support over this time. Like, we have built out a significant network, and we've been pushing updates every 2 weeks, and it's been an incredible journey. We've learned so much, and this is why mainnet will be so successful, is because IncentiveNet has been incredible. The community has been working with us, literally on a daily basis to help troubleshoot issues. We push new updates, they help us test them. It's been amazing. And so what we've done now, because the IncentiveNet has grown so quickly, and our internal architecture has really not been scoped to deal with the scale that we're dealing with, we have paused the incentive net rewards program. And so what that means is we're basically have told, node providers like, hey, we're going to take a pause on providing rewards, and we're going to re-architect our reward system. Just to give a little bit of background on the reward system, when you run a Lilypad node, right now it's testnet, right? And so the Lilypad token has not launched, and so we provide Lilybit rewards for running, on a daily basis. And there's a whole rewards calculation. I'll get into that later. But essentially, you run your node, and as long as you're up for 4 hours a day, you get Lilybit rewards. And so that requires, a lot of significant time and capital investment from node providers. I mean, hopefully not too much capital investment. We've told node providers like not to be investing large amounts because it's a test net, and we are, moving towards mainnet. But again, this is a test net. Things change, and it can be rocky. And so anyway, that's why we've said that. But anyway, so we paused the incentive net really because we were having inconsistencies with rewards getting sent out to RPs, and then on top of that, we were having inconsistencies with RPs running jobs. And so at the end of the day, like the main functionality of Lilypad is to run jobs, right? And so if our network is struggling to run jobs, then we have a really serious problem with serving customers. And so in order to make sure it's really fair for RPs, and in order to make sure we can serve customers, we've decided to pause the incentive net. And so in the meanwhile, we will be, as I mentioned, re-architecting the reward system to make it more scalable on the architecture side. And then from the actual calculation side of things, we'll be implementing a job-based rewards mechanism. So the current rewards mechanism uses the GPU card info to basically say how many CUDA cores, how many tensor cores, how much VRAM does this RP have, and then it cross-references that with uptime coming from the proof of works that each node is running. And so, we're still figuring out the right way to either adapt that piece or completely remove it. We're still not sure about that. We're going to let the community know as soon as we know. But essentially, the vision is to implement a job-based proofing mechanism. So we have RPs running jobs consistently throughout the day, and thus we can determine that the RP is online. We can basically, the main key performance indicator is, can an RP run a job? And so we'll be able to test that. And then of course, RPs that can't run jobs will be incentivized to run jobs. And most of that comes down to making sure their configuration is good, making sure they have tokens, making sure they're up to date. There's a lot of pieces there. And so the issues that we've faced on IncentiveNet are on both our side and on the RP side. There's a lot of RPs that have not updated and that are misconfigured. But anyway, so the solution here was to pause it, re-architect it, and then relaunch it when it's ready. So that's the update with IncentiveNet. And as you can see, there's the leaderboards there. Actually, we have a bunch of resources to talk about. So yeah, if you want to learn more about Lilypad and the IncentiveNet and everything that's going on, check out our website, check out the blog that talks about the Lilybit rewards calculation, join our Discord. The Discord is so much fun. And we get into all the problems, all the solutions, all of the random announcements, whatever it is. We talk about the new GPU cards coming out. We talk about everything under the sun, right? Hardware is very, very passionate hardware community. So I have to say, we have Logan here, who's like the I don't know what I want to, the king of the hardware discussions. But anyway,
yeah.
No,
I don't think I'm the king of hardware just by seeing the just overall community. I mean,
no.
They're relentless. I like to say we are relentless when it comes to hardware. So I wouldn't say I'm even close. I'm like on the very bottom.
No, that's true. I was just saying that from a hardware perspective, we really appreciate how much you bring to the table in terms of providing perspective on, because I mean, Lilypad, what's so awesome and complicated about it is we're a cloud company and a software product to deploy systems to that cloud company. And so, yeah, I mean, Logan, you talk about this a lot, right? We orchestrating AI jobs on a normal, whatever Kubernetes cluster or normal centralized compute. Doing parallel processing is very complicated, just generally, right? And Absolutely. So doing it in a decentralized setting in a way that's fair, in a way that's safe, in a way that it's insane, right? It's very complicated.
Absolutely. This is something that we've only been able to do in just the past couple years. Like just mainstream hardware, I talk about it a lot at Lilypad. Mainstream hardware only in the past few years has enabled us to do this. And so it's thanks to NVIDIA, it's thanks to Intel, AMD, to give us things that can move all of this data and compute it at once and then spit it back out to us. I mean, that's all thanks to hardware. Really advanced, amazing, incredible hardware. So
yeah, and then of course like stuff like CUDA, right, and like stuff that orchestrates that hardware also, right? Like it's kind of a symphony of hardware and software working together.
Absolutely. NVIDIA and their CUDA library of tools especially deserves, I think, a gold star for their like we wouldn't be here without NVIDIA and CUDA and all of that. So beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Orchestrating it in a decentralized network is a task that is an ongoing and ever evolving. And
totally. Well, and also like the way that the Lilypad network is currently architected, like when you run a job, your job is matched up with a single GPU that has the resources needed to run that job, right? So if you need an H100 based on the amount of VRAM that you need or CUDA cores or whatever, we'll match you with that H100, right? And so as you can imagine, that's only one GPU. You know, we don't have, Lilypad network currently does not have like clusters of GPUs to run, you know, processes around across multiple cards. And so that's another piece that's incredibly complicated, right? It's kind of incredibly complicated to build clusters just locally, right? To build the decentralized cluster is insane, right? And so what we've done is, like, if you have multiple cards, multiple GPUs on one motherboard, on one instance, then you'll have to run, you know, an RP, a resource provider, a Lilypad node on each card.
Yep. Something that is, I'm not quite sure at this moment. We are not quite sure at this moment, but particularly I, on how we're going to specifically enable parallel compute on a single motherboard. But I think in my mind, I would probably lean a lot on back layout to help us do that. That would be my first. I believe that's the route that I would take. We are starting to look at that right now, but that is a huge important facet of this, specifically being just having jobs, Lilypad jobs that need and will use multiple GPUs. And this gets into the nuances and the particulars about building a module on Lilypad, but as of right now, modules built on Lilypad are really only built to address to the card 0, the first GPU, dedicated GPU on the system. And so, it's something that I've recently started making multi-GPU Docker jobs, and then extrapolating that out to a Lilypad job, and then making sure that the Lilypad network is able to actually compute it is super big, super important. It also goes into the rewards of running those jobs and rewarding, like the rewards for a parallel GPU setup are probably going to be higher because you have a lot more compute there. So
I mean, it feels like we'll probably, as part of the mainnet launch, probably will only support one RP per GPU, right? I don't think we're going to have multiple, but it's something we're so excited about because the use cases for, a cluster of GPUs, like there's tons of use cases for these big clusters of GPUs. Like we're working with some incredible BioML researchers who are basically creating these like workflows of like 3, 4, 5, 6 LLMs that all run computations of protein folding and basically like identifying identifying problems of rare diseases and then identifying solutions for how to create drugs to address those rare diseases. And so those types of workflows need, massive amounts of compute. And so anyway, in the beginning right now, we're supporting one-shot inference running in on one GPU. But I would imagine post mainnet is, part of the big pushes will be like, let's figure out, getting these like decentralized clusters. But on an A100, I mean, we have A100 on the network right now. Like you can run quite a bit of compute on a single A100. So in terms of the use cases that are currently being used on Lilypad and the groups that that are like looking at Lilypad, like the compute needs the compute supply we have, fits the demand. And so anyway, we're excited though about of course the opportunity. But anyway, Logan is the hardware guy at Lilypad. So if you want to talk about hardware, hit him up on our Discord, jump in the Discord, join the hardware channel. Show us your rig, what you're working with. We're always it feels like the community is always showing up with some new hardware, making me jealous. I've got a 4060 Ti on the way to put into my machine, and I'm very excited about that. But then people are showing up with much bigger cards than me, and I'm getting jealous over here. I know you too, Logan. Like Logan will see someone post something, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta buy a new machine now. I gotta buy a new motherboard or something, some new memory or something."
Yeah, it's just compute. I mean, we can't be limited. I mean, come on. This is what day and what age do we live in? Let's just go and get it. No, or just run it on Lilypad, which is I think I mean, I'm to the point where I've maxed out my allotment of thermal overhead in my residence. I don't think getting more GPUs is going to be that good, and so having them elsewhere, doing the compute elsewhere. I mean, that's the name of the game for me.
Totally. Well, and that's the value of Lilypad. You're absolutely right. Like at the end of the day, it's a cloud hosting provider or a cloud compute provider. And so, you don't have to buy a GPU. You can just use our network, and you can build an application and serve as many users as you want, and load balance across our network. So yeah, that's the beauty of it. And so yeah, we're not. This is not a call to action to everyone on the stream to say go buy the biggest GPU you can find
and be a Lilypad RP. It's also we also really want people to run jobs on Lilypad. We do have some Mr. Devrel over here, Alex. You can maybe help me theorize how we can do some of this, but we really are pushing people to run jobs on Lilypad right now. So if you need any help with how to run jobs, we have a few different methods on how to do it. And so, we do have some stuff that we need to get out, as in like we have some, I think, public keys that people need to be able to use to run on some of our other test networks. And so, I think we have a lot of work I think we have some important work to do there, Alex.
Yeah, that's actually a great segue, Logan. So the next big call to action, and we're going to be talking more about this, is running jobs on the network, and we're going to be providing Lilybit rewards for individuals who are creating modules to run on Lilypad. And so the big kind of bottleneck, I guess, to running jobs on the network and building out like a product is like we currently don't have an API that you can just hit to run a job. And so we actually have that in progress right now. Our team is working on building like a really simple API to be able to run jobs on the testnet without having to run the CLI. And that way, like if you build an application with Lilypad, like your users don't have to have the CLI installed, right? That's kind of a deal breaker for scaling an app. And so anyway, but I've opened up this repo. This is a repo that Logan's been working on will be kind of like step 0 for this API. And basically we're going to put out a demo probably later, ideally tomorrow, but maybe Friday, that basically shows how to run this JS CLI wrapper locally. And that way you can at least build a product and build a demo or build something with Lilypad. And you don't have to wait for us to get this public API out. You can actually get something going now. And so anyway, we'll have more about this soon. But this repo obviously is public. Go check it out. This specific code right here is being changed a little bit, and so don't judge us for this. This was a very basic build that happened 7 months ago that we're going to be kind of refactoring. But so what's up?
It works. I was just gonna say it does work. It does what it's supposed to do. The instructions are there. Spin it up, run it if you like. There's some details. So if you do go through it and you want some more details, feel free to message Alex or I. We will fill you in more on some of the details if needed. But yeah, it's a workable repository.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And then as I said, like we will have more on an actual like public API that people can use, and it'll be free in the beginning. Of course, the testnet is free, and so we'll make the API free also. We want to just unleash demand on the Lilypad network and have as many people running jobs as possible. So yeah, do keep an eye out for that, because that's a huge opportunity. And you build something cool, like you'll be entitled to earning rewards. And so that's really going to be the big call to action, is running jobs and building modules and getting some cool stuff built on Lilypad. So that's very exciting.
Yep.
But apart from that, the other resources here, I mean, as I mentioned, join the Discord, go check that out. Go check out our docs.lilypad.tech. That shows you everything about running a node, everything about building a job module. Logan has very awesomely built, or updated the build a module docs to make sure that it's like very straightforward for kind of like how to build out that module spec in Docker. And then of course we have the leaderboard for the nodes that have been on the testnet previously. And of course, those rewards are not going to be increasing because the incentive net has been paused. But those rewards are all safe and no worries. Like those are not going anywhere. And so our RPs that have been on the network previously don't have to worry about that. And we'll be communicating next steps over going into January, going into the next quarter. Like we'll be communicating next steps on what the incentive net will look like. Another big call to action is join our open source program. Just come contribute to the main repo, the Lilypad tools repo. There's a bunch of other repos that you can check out. We have issues specifically in the main repo. We have issues marked as community issues. So I can actually pull this up really quick. So in the main Lilypad repo here, we've got, if you just filter by, where's the filter here? Community. We've got issues that our team has kind of said, hey, this would be awesome if the community picks up. Now, of course, you can submit other issues to us and we'll most likely approve, as an open source contribution that would be eligible for Lilybit rewards. But here's a list of like some of the awesome ones that we've already identified as like, this would be awesome to have the open source community, contribute to. Everything from, helping out on the core code to looking into like Apple Silicon support for Lilypad RPs. We're really interested in expanding outside of, we only support NVIDIA GPUs right now. And so, Logan has spent some time figuring out how to get AMD support on our network. That's coming in the future. And then of course we want Apple Silicon support. And so right now that's, our team is very stretched. And so, having someone from the community work on the Apple Silicon support, that would be super dope. But either way, the way that this then gets, transitioned into rewards is we have this awesome dashboard. And so this is a part of the Lilybits incentive net rewards program. The resource providers earn rewards, and the community also earns rewards for contributions. And so once a month, the DevRel team looks at all the open source contributions and then gives Lilybit rewards based on essentially we try to make it really simple so that it's not like super subjective. It's really just like easy, medium, hard, and then what's the impact? Is it like an impact to the core code, the core stack? Is it kind of an ancillary thing? Is it kind of like a developer tool? And then we assign Lilybit rewards based on that. Also, I'm going to mention this actually next, is the ambassador program. So we have this incredible group of ambassadors who have been around the community for a while now, helping solve problems and helping actually, get stuff done, right? So, Cabula Rasa, the top of the list here, is our ambassador lead, absolute gem. Super appreciative of Cabula Rasa and all the other ambassadors. But yeah, they're in the Discord helping RPs solve problems. They're helping our team test stuff. And if you become an ambassador, you get access to a sort of a private ambassador chat with the team where we don't, I would say that all the information in that private chat is also public. We make sure to post it in both places, but if you're in the ambassador chat, you have like a direct line to the team to be able to ask questions and to be able to like get stuff figured out. And so there's a lot of value there. And then of course, every month we provide rewards in the form of Lilybits to our ambassadors. So anyway, we want more ambassadors to join the program. We really appreciate our ambassadors. And so that's actually the next slide. Yeah. And so, yeah, please reach out, let us know if you're interested, or just start contributing, jump in the pond, as we like to say, and, help out in the Discord, help us build tooling. If you're interested in the API, for example, like the the CLI API, like let us know if you're building something interesting. Let us know if you want to build some kind of hosted product. Let us know if you want to build some kind of front end. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity for the community here, and we're trying to be creative about how we kind of like talk about it. But if you think about it, we've got this big compute network with these Docker-based compute jobs that can be ran. Anyone can build a front end on that. Anyone can build a service on that. If you want to build an API that lets customers run Stable Diffusion, you can build an entire business on top of Lilypad, build an API, send jobs to our network, and you can build a business doing that. And so anyway, there's a lot of opportunity here. And so as we go into next year, and as we start providing rewards for building modules, for building front ends, for building APIs, like the opportunities are just going to keep growing. So definitely think about that. We've all got some time over the holidays now, probably, to do some fun projects. So let us know what you're working on. But anyway, so the ambassadors, yeah, it's a really awesome program. There's some awesome contributions there on the right. But at the end of the day, like our whole thing is that it takes a village to build something like this, right? To build such a complicated product and do it really successfully. And so we would not be here without the community. That's why a lot of the program, a lot of the architecture, a lot of the software for Lilypad is open source. That's why we have the ambassador program. Like our whole team has been told we're building in public, and it may not always be pretty, but that's the only way to do it. You have to build in public. You have to stress test things, and there's nothing that we don't hide anything about what's going on the network. And so it's all about the community. Anyway, with that, get involved on Discord. Check out our website. Check out our Twitter, our X, I guess. We write blogs every 2 weeks. We've got all kinds of interesting content that's in the pipeline. I know. I'll just pull up our blog real quick. So here's a Lilypad blog. We do a project report every 2 weeks, and then we've got stories about BioML work happening, information about the IncentiveNet program. I mean, just tons of awesome content. But the main thing is, like, with the project reports, like, we just talk about everything that's going on in the community and with Lilypad, right? So we talk about the engineering updates. We talk about developer events. We highlight stuff going on in the community. And so if you're interested to kind of follow along with the project, obviously the Discord and the website and all that and the Twitter are great. The blog really provides a lot of value, and we write those very consistently. So do check those out. But anyway, with that, I will leave it open. Does anybody have any questions? But if not, Logan and I were going to talk about some of the awesome stuff going on the engineering team. As we mentioned, like, the main success factor there's a couple of success factors for Lilypad, but one of the big ones is, can we consistently run jobs with 99.999% uptime, right? Because if we don't have customers running compute jobs, then our node providers, don't have revenue coming in apart from the rewards. And so, we have to have demand. We have to have a business that serves customers. And so, yeah, Logan, I was thinking we could talk about kind of some of the mechanisms that we're testing right now and that we'll be implementing, like the pre-flight check, that will help us, ensure that the network can run jobs consistently.
Yeah. So, like Alex said, we need to be able to be equipped and be provisioned to run jobs via the nodes on the network. So there's a lot of work that goes into that. When it comes to, like, the nodes I'm running, it seems fairly, because I've done it just so many times, I've set up a Lilypad node. It seems fairly straightforward and I don't know, very, very straightforward. But there's a lot of complexities when it comes to setting up all of the drivers and all of the software to run this. And so instead of having a step-by-step process, we are going to have a step-by-step process, as well as a lot of software to run pre-flight checks. Just like if you're a very, very expensive and large airplane, there's a lot of checklists that you have to complete before you take off. We will be doing a lot of checks to make sure that a lot of requirements are satisfied before a Lilypad node takes off on the network. Like, if we have such a large group of nodes on the network, we need to make sure every single one is able to compute and accomplish an output. And so I'm very excited to get a lot of work on this. There's steps from all the way from give us a wallet private key or public key. I think give the software on your node a wallet's private key, and essentially we will check to see how many GPUs are on the machine. There's a sum greater than one GPU on the machine. Okay, disperse the funds from that single wallet to another wallet to provision that to each GPU. We need to have funds on each Lilypad node, and so instead of making a resource provider go and send nodes to every single resource provider on for each GPU, we're going to have that all automated. We've got things to make sure that their job actually runs locally. So it'll pre-download a few different sample models that we have, run them. Does it give an output? Is the output what we kind of expect? These things are always very difficult to do, but very important.
No, I mean, what's so exciting about this, and one of the biggest challenges of the Lilypad network, is that we're running a cloud company with hardware that we don't control. And so that's the beauty of a decentralized network. That's the value proposition where we don't, like, that's our whole thing. But at the end of the day, it's like, if you don't control the hardware, there's a lot of inconsistencies, there's a lot of complexities and nuances that will create issues. Even like running with a VPN, or even like if you're in a data center, sometimes there's networking problems, right? And so, or like latency problems. I mean, you need to have like a pretty, what's the I forget, Logan, what's the minimum network connection that we recommended? I can look in the hardware docs if you don't know off the top of your head. But anyway, the point is, check it. Let me pull up the hardware requirements real quick. I don't want to make this up.
Exactly.
Okay, so
250, 250 down.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so there's a lot of complexities with making this work. And the beauty of IncentiveNet has been, we've kind of figured out the problems of this in the solutions the hard way. And so that's why, again, I was saying thank you to the community for the support over this time. And that's why we're providing the rewards program, because at the end of the day, like, we're doing something that's very complex, and the only way to figure it out is to do it. And then you figure out the problems, and then you create solutions. And so the pre-flight check is a long time coming. I would say we've been like implementing like a baby pre-flight check with certain things. Like, for example, we implemented maybe a month or two ago. I think it's probably like 2 months now. So when you turn a Lilypad node on, you first turn on IPFS, then you turn on Bacalhau, then you turn on Lilypad Resource Provider. If Bacalhau is not turned on, the Lilypad Resource Provider will not turn on. And so, like, that kind of stuff we've implemented, and it's been helping. More jobs have been able to run. But at the end of the day, we need an end-to-end pre-flight check, like Logan said, to make sure that every single node is on the same page and is able to do the same thing. And so even running the latest Lilypad version has been something that, we know we need nodes to do. And a lot of nodes have been doing that. And then, of course, there's always some that don't. And so we need to be able to have a node, if it fails the pre-flight check, it cannot join the network. And that's something that, is another piece of the puzzle here that we're going to be fixing, or maybe fixing is the wrong word, but re-architecting with this pre-flight check, updating the way that the nodes turn on in order to make sure that the network can run jobs. And so anyway, there's just a lot of awesome work in the process, like the pre-flight check, that I'm personally very excited about, because the more consistency we have running jobs, then the more users we can grow the network to. And I mean, we already have a pipeline of demand coming from BioML, pipeline of demand coming from AI agents, on-chain agents specifically are very exciting right now. A lot of developers want to launch that kind of stuff on our network. And so, being able to support that and having the network be have 99% uptime is one of our big, measurable key performance indicators that we're pushing towards with testnet, because we want to hit that. We need to hit that before we launch mainnet, right? In order for mainnet to be successful, testnet has to be successful. And so anyway, that's where we're at. But anyway, we're very excited with where we're at right now, and the team is working their asses off. I have to say, there's everyone is just full steam ahead. They've got more work on their plate than they even can handle, but it's a startup. We're building a decentralized network, right? And we've got
Two pizza team.
Yeah, well, exactly. We've got like these small cross-functional teams that they're like these little groups that gets tasks done. And I mean, we've got some incredible engineers on the team, and so we are pushing really hard into year end. And then, things will be a bit quiet between Christmas and New Year's. We're going to let our team take a little bit of a breather. Of course, the DevRel team will be around in the Discord to help answer any questions or help, the community with anything they need. But come January, like we're full steam ahead, pushing towards mainnet launch, and of course getting the testnet fully tuned up to be able to run, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of jobs per day. That's our target. Our target is 1 million jobs per day. And so, we're doing everything in our power to push towards that. So anyway, that's that. We're very excited, as you can tell, and there's a lot of opportunity on the horizon, especially as mainnet launch, comes up on the horizon. And so, be thinking about what kind of modules you can build, start testing, check out our docs. I may have mentioned this, but I can just show it. This is the awesome documentation Logan built for building a job module. So, do check this out and ask us if you have any questions. But essentially, you're creating a Docker file that is configured to be Lilypadized. You're Lilypadizing a Docker file. And so, of course, there's a lot of specifics here. But you get your configuration sorted, and then of course we have some examples you can check out, and then you're good to go. And then let's see how creative everyone gets, right? You can build a module, you can get jobs running, but then what else can you do? You can build a front end, you can start serving customers, you can build an API, you can start serving customers. We want to see the community start serving customers on top of what we're doing to serve customers. That's extremely exciting. And so I would say, like today at this moment right now, like the JS CLI wrapper repo that I showed earlier was probably the best place to start for trying to build out like a service on Lilypad. But if you want to start smaller, just looking at building a job module and get that running on the network, and then going from there. But anyway, stay tuned. There's a lot coming up for rewards for building modules, building plugins, building integrations, building front ends. So do keep an eye out. Anyway, with that, I will say thank you, Logan, for hanging out with us. It was super fun. Thanks everyone else for hanging out with us. This is the last AMA of the year. It's been so much fun doing these AMAs. Like Logan and I always talk about it. Like we can't wait to jump on these things and just hang out with the community. Like that's what it's all about. And what a great job, right? We get to sit here and talk about GPUs. We get to sit here and talk about orchestrating decentralized cloud companies. It's a lot to sort of take in all at once, but I don't see what else I would be doing. This is amazing. So anyway, thanks Logan for always joining the AMAs, and
thanks for hosting. Thanks for as the host of the AMAs, every 2 weeks here in North America. Thank you so much. We have the greatest team at Lilypad, to be honest, and we have like the best engineers, including you, Alex. And so thank you as always.
Of course. No, yeah, it's easy to work hard when you're surrounded by other people who are so smart and also working hard, right? So absolutely, that's a good thing. But anyway, thanks to the community for all you've done, resource providers, people running jobs, people building apps, people building developer tools. Like, we are so inspired by the work we've already seen. We're greatly appreciative of the patience that recent node providers have had over the months. The incentive net has had tons of great stuff. We've had also some inconsistencies and some problems to resolve. And we try to communicate as proactively as possible without, causing confusion or jumping the gun. Like, sometimes it just takes some time to investigate things. And then once you investigate things, you have to come up with a solution. Then you come up with a solution, then you have to implement the solution, then you have to communicate the solution. And so, we do our best to be as proactive as possible. But anyway, huge shout out to the community, and we will see you all in 2025. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks all. Thanks, everyone.